Hello, and welcome back to the What's on My Mind show. My name's Thomas for the What's on My Mind show, and I thought I'd check in with you guys, see how you guys are doing. I know it's been a long time since I posted anything. To be completely honest, I've been really busy. Um, there's a lot of stuff that I've been doing, as well as just trying to get by, trying to prioritize my mental health, because obviously that's very important. But it's rather difficult when all this nonsense is going on in the US. So I thought I'd just say that I'm not happy. I'm not really happy right now with the way things are going. I think that the US is going down a very slippery slope, um, with people trying to rid us of the quote unquote woke mind virus. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're a Republican or someone who's part of the MAGA movement and you're hearing this, the woke mind virus, I'm sorry, but you've been lied to. There is no such thing as the woke mind virus. Anyone who says that there is lying to you or a racist. I'm just going to say that right now. The woke mind virus is nothing but the right wing saying everything they don't like is woke or is again or anti-American. It's the exact same thing as Joseph McCarthy in the 1950s McCarthy trials accusing people of communism. Like, come on. Are we seriously no better than Joseph McCarthy? Joseph McCarthy, the person who put a bunch of people on trial for being suspected of being communists and started the House Un-American Activities Committee. The precedent for the actions taken by President Trump, and I can't believe I'm even saying that, are deeply troubling. He said during his campaign that he knew nothing about Project 2025, yet is following its playbook almost verbatim. He said in his first, he said that he claimed that he wanted to annex Greenland and annex Canada, which just no, because first of all, Denmark is our ally. Canada is our ally. We're not at war with Canada. We're also not at war with Trinidad, and you can't declare the Alien Enemies Act unless we're at war with a foreign country. Trinidad is not a foreign country. They are not backed by a foreign country. Trinidad is a Venezuelan gang. It's a Venezuelan cartel. A cartel is a drug gang. It's not a foreign terrorist organization. It's not a foreign army. It is a gang. It is a criminal organization. You can't declare a war on a criminal organization. You can declare a war on drugs. You can declare a war on terror, which was a mistake in my opinion. But you can't declare a war on a foreign organization, and such as a drug cartel, because then the powers of the Alien and Enemies Act can be implemented as to unlawfully discriminate against people who, for lack of a better term, are in this country illegally, even though the places that they came from are significantly less stable and less safe than it is here. I also want to say this. The government of the United States, in an official outlet from an official government officer, someone who has sworn an oath to protect the Constitution, has posted fascist aligned propaganda about deportation on an official government outlet. Something like this is even more troubling than most people realize because this is what was done by Germany during World War II. The government of the United States is aligning themselves with AfD, or the Alternative for Deutschland, which is a far right neo Nazi political party in Germany. The government of the United States is aligning itself with neo Nazis. They align themselves with North Korea and with Russia in a vote for Ukrainian solidarity in the Ukrainian Russian Ukrainian war. I don't understand why people keep saying that Ukraine is in the wrong. They're not. Ukraine has the right to defend its own borders against a foreign adversary, as does Palestine. Now, I'm not trying to condone what Hamas is doing. Hamas is a terrorist organization. I'm just going to say that right now. Even though they are the de facto government of Palestine, they are a terrorist organization. I'm also not going to say that I agree with what Israel is doing. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people, and by this government not condoning the actions of Israel or the actions of Palestine, and by saying that they want to turn Gaza into a resort town is deeply concerning and speaks even more to the level of insanity and the level of political genocide they're willing to go to. The US government is doing things that, by all measures, are authoritarian leaning. If you don't get where I'm coming from, please message me down in the comments. Just a few things that they have done. First of all, the they are rounding up student protesters. They are rounding up student protesters. Okay. You know who also did that? Nazi Germany. Yep, you were exactly right. They posted an official tweet of a deportation. Yes. They also have done so many unspeakable things that it would that this video would get taken down if I mentioned them all. Now, I'm right now trying to find it, but I know it was on here, and we're honestly, I think that we need to take a long and hard look at what we are doing and what we are trying to see, what we're trying to accomplish, because there's a very large amount of misinformation and disinformation on everything that's going on. Also, I'm trying to find this because it's really a staggering. It is really quite a staggering list of things that were things that have been done. So there's a complete list of everything that has been done by Donald Trump in his second term. And the first, first of all, uh, the second he got in office, he violated the Constitution, one that he had just sworn an oath to preserve, protect, and defend. He signed an executive order on January 20th, 2025, which was Inauguration Day, to end birthright citizenship, a clear violation of the 14th Amendment. He withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, which allows for there to be increased funding towards preventing the world from heating up even more than it already is. Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is really just trying to see all of the things that don't align with their very far right ideologies. They're trying to get rid of them. Elon Musk, on the 20th of January 2025, made two gestures that have been equated to being Nazi salutes and to hailing the victory of Trump. He's gotten rid of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility programs, which are which eliminate or try to promote the fair hiring and accessibility of jobs to not only people based on merit, but people based on merit. The most, the best person for a certain job might be some is if if the best candidate for a certain job is someone who is non-white, they are now disadvantaged because of the lack of DEI and the lack of accessibility towards government programs. And it is essentially eliminating hiring discrimination. And here's the thing that I'm confused about. Why do we not want for the country that our leaders serve, why don't we want our leaders to look like the country that it serves? Why don't we want that? He fired inspector general. He's fired more than a dozen inspectors general, which will, from independent government watchdogs, that will prevent violation, that will investigate crime and abuse allegations towards members of towards federal employees. He nominated a Fox News host, Pete Hegseth, who has allegations of sexual violence, alcoholism, workplace conduct, and an affinity for neo-Nazism as all part of his past. He has a white extremist symbol tattooed on his chest. The Georgian cross is a white nationalist symbol. He wants to get rid of the United States Department of Education. many of his policies on immigration and his policies on deportation, and therefore ICE, are mimicking racist deportation policies and racist roundup policies of other far right and other neo-Nazi leaders and other Nazi leaders and other fascists. The government of the United States right now is broken. It is not functioning. If it was functioning, we wouldn't be in the place we were right now with rampant inflation, rampant racism, rampant disease because of RFK Jr., and rampant homophobia and transphobia, when only, get this, only 10, yes, 10 out of the more than 510,000 athletes competing at US schools are transgender. That is 10 out of 510,000. That is not a large percentage. That is less than 1%. Banning fake news is really banning legitimate news outlets that don't align with his political beliefs. Also also fueling more hate and more propaganda. He tried to eliminate anti-Christian bias in the federal government, which is blatantly against the First Amendment. You can't prosecute anti-Christian bias because Christian nationalism is what it is supporting. And bias against an anti-Christian bias is really just trying to have a one religion nation, which is Christianity. He also wants Canada to become the 51st state. No, just no. That's just why. He he posted a video on the 9th of February where he wants to redevelop Palestine, which is a violation of the Geneva Convention. He got rid of he became the chairman for the John F. Kennedy Performing Arts Center. He got rid of USAID, which prevents the spread of HIV, AIDS, prevents the spread of HIV, AIDS, malaria, and Ebola in most of the world, and has cut funding to it, which makes it ridiculously hard for children in other countries to get vaccines, and reduce the and re- also reduces the risk of polio. His confirmed Secretary of Health and Human Services is a vaccine denier, vaccine skeptic, a conspiracy theorist, and a medical racist, as well as he also got rid of, also his orders got rid of things like, he called Volodymyr Zelensky the president of Ukraine, not the dictator of Ukraine, the president of Ukraine. Currently, Ukraine is under martial law right now, which forbids the holding of elections because of its constitution. Donald J. Trump, the president of the United States, who has ties to Russia and to Vladimir Putin, accused Ukraine of starting the war with Russia. A blatant lie. In the press conference held with Vladimir Zelensky, he parroted Russian propaganda and Russian state propaganda. The majority of his the majority of his uh, cabinet members are conspiracy theorists, and I just, you can tell I'm irritated about this. This is not okay. This is not a thing that should be happening. We also have something like he wants to hand select the journalists for the White House press corps, which is just no. The free press is a thing. The free press is a very important thing. He wants to get rid of the Associated Press journalists from the White House press corps because they don't align with him calling the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. It's not the Gulf of America, it's the Gulf of Mexico. It's been the Gulf of Mexico since it was discovered. Now, if he had renamed it to the Gulf of the Americas, I'd be fine with that. But no, the Gulf of America, just like renaming Mount Denali to Mount McKinley. No, that is racism. Re stripping the Having Google strip the title of the Queen of Hawaii, the last Queen of Hawaii, and calling her a Hawaii composer or a Hawaiian composer. No, they got rid of Jackie Robinson's uh they got rid of Jackie Robinson's military records as well off the DoD website. They also He also signed an executive order to make English the official language of the United States. Another another example of institutional racism and blatant bias by President Trump. English should not be the official language of the United States. It's the most widely spoken, but there should be other official languages of the United States, like Spanish and like Mandarin and like Polish, because the, those three are also fairly widely spoken in the U.S. His Forest Service, the head of his Forest Service, is a lumber executive, is a former lumber executive to lead the Forest Service. The VA he had the VA reduced its workforce by more than 80,000. The United States Department of Veterans Affairs is a good thing because veterans need health care too. The Here's one on March 7th, 2025, which was essentially 2 weeks ago. No, like 3 weeks ago, most likely. The All references to the aircraft that dropped the atomic bomb on Japan during World War II was marked for deletion because of purging of DEI. The name of that aircraft was the Enola Gay, named after Enola Gay Tibbets, the mother of the pilot. It had nothing to do with homosexuality. It's a last name. It's a surname. Get over your battle on the woke mind virus, which doesn't exist. They also revoked the green card status of a permanent legal resident in the U.S., Mahmoud Khalil, and they detained him without due process and against his first against his Fourth Amendment rights and against his First Amendment rights because of freedom of speech. They called him a terrorist. It does absolutely nothing to combat anti-Semitism. The likelihood of a recession right now is insane because of his bogus and destructive trade wars on any country that we have an alliance with, yet he's allying himself with Russia and with North Korea. And he's cut federal funding for medicine, for medical research. They have, he has dismantled Voice of America. He's dismantled the U.S. Agency for Global Media, which oversees Voice of America. It was, which, okay, come on, use common sense. No, it's free press. He wants to use seven a law from 1798 to deport Venezuelans, supposedly if they belong to the gang Tren de Aragua, to El Salvador without due process. Okay, first of all, no due process. Second of all, Venezuelans allegedly belonging to the gang Tren de Aragua. Okay, anybody who is from Venezuela is now at risk of being deported illegally because of unconscious bias and racism. And not unconscious, it's blatant because of this. Jackie Robinson's military career was removed from the DoD website because of a crackdown on DEI related material. They've gotten rid of not only that, but also information on the Navajo code talkers, who, without them, we probably would not have won this war. We probably would not have won World War II. I am sick of the of his attacks and his blatant discrimination and his railing against the supposed woke mind virus, which doesn't even exist. Their ideas of the woke mind virus are just their propaganda that's turning people against the rational and the non-racist and the non-discriminatory policies of the US. All of their policies that they're enacting are retaliating against the Democratic Party, which is just BS. I'm sorry that this has been a long-winded rant and that this has been a an angry rant, but I think it's something that people need to hear because we cannot take this lying down. We need to work hard to maintain our democracy. We need to work hard to maintain our democracy. Thank you.